the Sleep Geek Podcast. It's a raucous romp through the mattress industry with your hosts, Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn. Dos Marcos. Mattress industry mavens, hang on to your quilted pillow tops because this tick's about to get real.
So, welcome once again to the Sleep Geek Podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you for tuning in on Facebook Live.
And the podcast, if you're listening to this, because I assume this will be part of that too. So if you're listening to us, you're working out, you're running, you're walking your dog, or you're
in
just
church
driving.
trying to do something more fun.
Why are they listening to us in church?
I heard that. I heard about a preacher, a guy who grew up and he was a preacher. But when he was a kid, he had a Walkman in his waistband so he could listen to his tunes, listen to house music. Maybe some people are sitting in church wanting to listen to the podcast. Pay attention to the preacher, okay?
Wow, let's hope not, because then that means we're part of the problem.
On camera,
So-
you're off camera.
Because this microphone. Okay, so check this out. My son comes home yesterday, and so he's 14, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a rap manager." I said, "Well, what is that, and does it pay?" And he said, "No." He said, "I'm a rap manager. I go like at school at recess. They got these rap battles, and my guy is like king something something." And he's good. I said, "So is he good?" He's like, "Yeah." And so he is against this other dude, and they rap, and then Nick's like the hype guy. So if the guy roasts the other guy,
Your son?
yeah, believe it or not, yeah. So if his guy roasts the other guy, then Nick leads the crowd like, "No way, shut up! Did
Get out of here, you gotta be kidding me,
You got
man."
the dude roasted, right? And he leads the charge.
Tries getting ready to go, oh!
Yeah, right. Lead the reaction.
Yeah, good for him.
And so his guy won, and I guess they've got another rap battle coming up Friday. So I'm working with Nick, and I'm like, "Dude, you should get him like a big medal," because I said he's won one, right? And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Has he lost any?" I said, "No." And I said, "You know what that makes him?" He said, "What?" I said, "Your guy's undefeated."
Undefeated, baby.
We got to get him a medal, and then you can like put this big bling around his neck. And he was like, "No, you know what I need? I need a crown." So Nick and
he's
I,
the king.
He's the king.
That's
so
right,
Nick
you
and I
gotta
went on
crown the king.
Amazon, bought like a $9 plastic gold jeweled crown that he's going to wear in his next rap battle Friday. Can you believe that?
I love
Are
that.
you a rapper? Can you? Well,
I
you
have
can
done
throw
rap
down.
battles,
You
man.
actually you did a great rap at ISPA. You took our
The Get Hybrid song.
Get Hybrid song, which plays us in and out every time, and you killed it. You like rewrote that, but you've done other rap. You said
I rewrote it, yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
But
I
no,
remember one of the verses I rewrote.
yeah, hit us. Give us a little
It's
taste
like a
of that.
superstar writer meets a bed encyclopedia. That's Dave Perry, the king of mattress media. He saw hybrid slam like a 10-pound sledge. Then he wrote about Look at a Platt's active edge.
Wow, that's pretty solid. Hey,
That
you
was
know
just
what?
one of many, though.
In this
guys.
relationship,
There's more where that came from.
I could be your rap manager.
Will you be my rap manager?
I'll hype you.
You need to go tell
I
Nick.
got that. No, I'm in. Well, I have to learn from my son. I have no idea how to actually be a rap manager, but I'm in. I can.
You just
figure
got
it out.
to. Oh no! Look at that. No, I've actually been in a rap battle.
So, oh wow.
And I was
so where
battling,
was that?
I was battling for the ability to stay in this competition. So here's what happened.
Where were you, and were you drinking?
Yeah, and yes.
Okay.
So Doug Stewart, you know Doug.
Oh yeah.
Doug Stewart secretly, along with Tara Kinsley, my wife, they signed me up for an adult spelling bee. And by the way, an adult spelling bee doesn't mean that there's a bunch of curse words and expletives and stuff about it.
You mean legit?
It's like you're all adults and you're going
spell
to be doing a spelling bee.
anti-disestablishmentarianism for the
Right,
crowd. Yeah. Okay.
right. And so they signed me up behind the scenes, and they kind of surprised me with it. So as part of this, they have a host, and the guy's a comedian, and you have 40 people signed up. And so the first round of people that went out, he said, "I'm going to give you a chance to get back into the spelling bee."
Oh no.
And the first group of people that had a chance to get back in the spelling bee, what they had to do was get up on stage and dance. And so a bunch of people got up there and danced.
Was this at a bar?
It was at a bar,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And so it was a brewery. So they get up there and dance, and they get back in. A few of them
How
do.
fun. Yeah.
Then a bunch of people go out, and we have another round after that, and I misspelled a word. So he said, "I'm going to give this group of people another chance to get back in, but you have to rap battle me,"
Oh no.
is what the guy that was hosting said. And so I was like,
Tell me you took
let's do this.
Tell me you took him down.
I said, "Let's do it. I'm in. Like, let's go." and nobody else would do it except me.
I love you,
So
man.
as I was thinking about it, I'm like, I think just by virtue of me saying I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
the crowd will be on my side.
For sure.
So we get up there and we're like toe to toe, and this guy starts beatboxing.
Oh, no. And right then were you like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So this guy comes at me and he starts, throwing off a few things. I'm like, I think he's kind of a pro. Like, he's a comedian.
He's freestyling?
And obviously, if you ask somebody to rap battle you, you're probably good at rap battling. And so,
That is a very logical progression of thought.
yeah. So anyway, then it got to me,
Man.
and I had a couple of
Did you
really
freeze?
no. I had
No.
a couple of really good lines out of the gates that I can't repeat because they
But
were.
were you freestyling? Or
I was
did you have?
freestyling.
Because Nick tells me on his playground, they like write these out and they're prepared. Now, there might be some freestyle in the middle of it, but it's like pre-planned. So you were just freestyling.
I was freestyling.
Wow,
the whole
that's
time.
harder. That's a lot harder.
Yeah, I think I actually worked in one like little line or two from the Get Hybrid rap song.
Good.
Just so you know.
Well, you got to throw that in.
But anyway, I got back in the competition.
Best rap of all time.
I got back in the competition and I got 5th in the adult spelling
How
bee.
did you do in the rap battle?
I just told you. I did
You
it.
got back in, but was the
the
crowd on your
I
side?
mean, the crowd was totally on my side. They
This-
were like, yeah, they were cheering.
They were,
They were like
so they
my
loved it.
hype managers.
I love it. And so that would have seemed like a good idea to me at the time to say, "Oh, let's go rap battle. I'm in." And then the guy starts beatboxing. I think my heart would have started to race, and at that moment in time, I would have been like, "I could be over my head here."
That kind of crossed my mind the
you-
moment I opened my mouth. Because I remember thinking, I'm like, this guy needs to slow down a little bit. The beat is too fast.
Oh no, that's so good. Hey, good for you, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that Tara and Doug Stewart, shame on him, man. I can't believe Doug would put you up to that.
I can.
Doug's good like that. I bet Doug could rap too.
I
He's
think he
solid.
probably
He's a-
could,
He's a
man.
quick thinker.
He's a quick thinker.
Yeah.
He's a good talker.
Yeah, he
he
is.
talks real good.
Good.
Hey, and
well, we got
if anybody knows Doug, you should definitely check out his podcast.
off the top.
Off the top.
He does a great job.
So now, because I was doing it with him for a little while,
Yeah.
and I still am, but now it's Off the Top with Doug Stewart and Mark Kinsley sometimes,
Well,
and he's doing interviews with some really cool people. Alan Stein, who coached Kobe and a bunch of other cool basketball players.
ooh. I heard about him in a book actually. How did he land that interview? That's pretty solid.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so if you go to DougStewart919.com, let's put it in the show notes, Kirsten, DougStewart919.com.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
Kirsten.
So Kirsten and I were late today,
Yeah.
and you were
Hey,
on time. And
easy.
I blame
It's okay,
Kirsten
Hollywood.
because I was waiting to get in the building. They've revoked my credentials at Leggett, so
We're only trying to do the world's greatest
Yeah.
mattress industry podcast here. No big deal.
we got to lock it down. So we got a lot to get to. So where do you want to start? You got the list.
The list right here. Where do you want to start?
So, all right. So we big news. Everyone wants to talk about it. I wrote a blog about it, and we did some LinkedIn stuff, and it's got a lot of action. That is the merger between Tuft and Needle and Serta.
this is huge
have you
news
heard
in the
this?
industry. Yeah. So obviously this has been out here for a little while. We've had a lot of travels going on, so we haven't been podcasting as consistently as we like, and we do apologize for that.
But you can't avoid. I mean,
No.
you got to talk about this.
You got to talk about it. And so, as you know, Tuft and Needle, one of the upstart brands that came onto the scene selling bed in a box, really helped define that category. And their message has been for years, mattress stores are greedy. And they've really attacked traditional brick and mortar retail. They've really promoted the idea of bed in a box. They have a direct customer relationship, right? So most mattress brands sell through retail traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've really helped define this category that has created a seismic shift in the industry. A category that Mike Magnuson from goodbed.com says is 17 to 20% of the industry today in terms of sales. So for the news,
Do you know
to
what the e-commerce as a percent to total retail is?
total retail in the world,
E-commerce.
just all e-commerce.
Call it U.S. E-commerce as a total percent to retail sales in the U.S.
I don't have the numbers.
It's 10.
10%.
So it's almost 7 to 10 points higher in our category. I thought that was interesting.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's a
You
good
with
way
me?
of,
Yeah.
of kind of
Framing it, sure.
So there's more action from a dollar standpoint, percentage-wise, in the mattress category than in the rest of retail, and it's a pretty tough item to deliver. I mean, even though we roll it up and put it in a box now in a lot of cases, it's much easier to get a video game online,
right,
and have it shipped to your house. So that's significant.
It is. And so, first of all, we would like to congratulate Dehi and JT.
And the entire team at Tuft
and the entire team at Tuft and Needle, and Michael Traub, and everyone at SSB, because I think this does a lot for both of them. I wrote a blog on it at Q's Views, and talk about a lot of I actually interviewed, before I wrote this blog post, I interviewed several industry thought leaders and got their opinion and included that into the blog post, into bullets. And so anyway, but congratulations to both, because I think it does a lot of good for both groups. I think they both get something great out of it. So what are you hearing? What is the feedback you're getting?
Well, I think the initial reaction was Tuft and Needle is going to be absorbed into a direction that they initially were against, which was the traditional mattress industry. But whenever you look behind the scenes and talk to a lot of people who are in the space on both sides of the equation, everybody, I think, is after the same things in essence. And that is, they want to have a relationship with the customer, and they want to have sales. And whenever people on the online side of the equation are starting to look for sales, what are they doing? They're opening up brick and mortar locations. And people on the traditional wholesale side of the business, what are they doing? Moving into the online space. So our roads are going to merge no matter what. And I think whenever you look at the increased competition to sell online, resources, expertise with wholesale distribution, a lot of, all the different things that go into building a business so you have more growth beyond where you are today, those conditions to get from where you are now to $1 billion business, I think are a lot more tricky to navigate than just capital. Right? So I think resources, expertise, and I think it's not just going to happen through one channel. So you need lots of distribution. And I think that's where, Tuft and Needle is what was maybe headed. And now this gives them a chance to do that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, SSB, grew its business to the #1 brand in America. What a great place to hitch your wagon if you're Tuft and Needle. From the Serta side of things, Serta grew its business into #1. Meanwhile, you have Simmons that pioneered so many things like their pocketed coils early on, one-sided mattresses. I mean, being able to tap into that history and inform where you go and push it into the digital realm, huge opportunity, no doubt about it. And a huge congratulations to JT and Dehi and the entire team. I've known them for years, and they are incredible thinkers and good people, good hearts. So it's a big time, I think, to celebrate, and so it's definitely worth congratulations to them.
It is for them, for sure. And a couple of thoughts on it. I like it from SSB's perspective, because it's kind of like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I want to say, manufacturers were like, what we're going to do? We're going to get into the retail business. And they just started opening sleep shops. And they found out pretty quickly that it's not real easy to do. And so I like what SSB is doing, because they're saying, we could bring in our own e-commerce guys. And they did that with Tomorrow, right? They've got some of that happening. I don't know how that's going. But then they go, what? Instead of trying to do it in-house, it's not our core competency, right? So let's go get somebody who's really good at it. And that's what they did. And so they went to Tuft and Needle. So I like it from that perspective. I think that's good strategy. And then if you're Tuft and Needle, you're going to need to push into retail. You're going to love the idea that there's, multiple manufacturing. There's a lot more footprint for them in terms of shipping and efficiencies there. Plus, they have a massive retail network. If the strategy, I would assume, is for SSB to push Tuft and Needle product into brick and mortar, right? And I've heard a couple people that have talked to them about that, and they're kind of saying, slow down, we're not ready for that yet. So I'm not quite sure how they're going to execute. So anyway, I think that's pretty smart stuff. I think a big challenge they're going to have, though, Kinsley, we talk about this a lot, is clash of culture. And they got to be really careful here I've been friends with Dehi. I don't know JT as well. I've met JT, but Dehi, really solid guy. I like him. I like the people he's assembled. I love being in Arizona at their offices. They've done a really cool job. I like what they're doing with their store concept. Their product is clean. Really good product extensions that are logical to me. Good, high quality. They're staying focused on that with commitment to price. But their culture is so different than what is at SSB. So I think they got to be really careful, both of them, trying to integrate too quickly. I think that SSB, if they're smart, which Michael certainly is, and his team, they will let Tuft and Needle be Tuft and Needle still, but capitalize on their brain.
Well, Serta on the Serta side and on the Simmons side, if you separate them, no strangers to merging cultures. I mean, this is something that and
they had a lot of trouble with that.
If you look at recent history, you have two iconic brands that are now under one umbrella, and when that happens, you have two separate teams. You have Salesforce and product development people and marketing people that have been competing with each other for years, and they've brought them together. And I bet if you peek behind the curtain, there's some rough road that you have to travel to get that done.
For sure.
But they're moving forward with it. So they've navigated that process of merging cultures. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, whether you think it's a good move, a bad move, if it's a move that encroaches on your territory or just something you're watching from the sidelines, it's an interesting time to be a part of the mattress industry, because these things that have kind of defined the disruption over the past 3 years, this is an example of these things now starting to hit a crossroads, or maybe to merge back together in some way.
Right, and it's strategic because Tuft and Needle knows they need to go into brick and mortar. Serta knows they need to have. I think this is as much about a relationship with the consumer, because Tuft and Needle's better with that, like creating fans. Although this move, I don't know if you caught any of it, but the Tuft and Needle fan base, there's a lot of them. We're not happy about this.
Because the chatter online,
sure, because Tuft and Needle has been about that one of their core beliefs is that mattress stores are greedy, yet there's it smells a little like they might be pushing into the mattress store. Maybe they don't. So I think some of their fan base was not happy with that. It was incongruent maybe with a brand promise that they had. And then some of the retailers online who were not happy with them for attacking retail for being greedy are being very kitschy in their comments and some of the LinkedIn posts saying, hey, you know what? Now there's no more bashing retail stores for Tuft and Needle, so maybe it's good news for the industry. They'll stop bashing the retail side. So we'll see. Interesting, don't you think? There's a lot of...
Yeah. You know what we should do? We should have JT and Dehi back on. They were on the podcast I think it was like episode 12 or something like that. It's been a long time ago. And, once the dust settles with this transition, it'd be cool to have them back on to talk shop again.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
And here's the other thing I think about. Just recently, Casper came out with some line extension products in the furniture space.
Right.
It's like a bedside table, that's pretty cool. I mean, but it's clean, kind of Scandinavian design. But whenever you look at where these brands can go and some of the line extension stuff that you talked about, when you have a direct relationship with the consumer like Tuft and Needle does, and SSB traditionally hasn't, when you have that line to the consumer, it can inform your product development, it can inform other line extension products, and you don't have that cost of acquisition anymore.
Right.
So you're really sitting on a mountain of money potentially if you serve them up the right products.
Remember back when we created Sleep Geek? One of the main reasons that we created Sleep Geek was we didn't feel like anybody owned the relationship with a retail sales associate. And we knew if we did, we would have access. It was back when Leggett was trying to learn their way in to consumer research side of things. So forget what we know. What does the RSA, the guy in the front line, what does he know? What does she know? And so we wanted to own it. No one owned it. And so if we had a product development idea, then we wanted to take it to our community and find out from them if it was viable from the RSA perspective, and then we would know something. Same thing here with Serta. They're going to get that benefit. I think they have some of it already But I think Tuft and Needle is certainly better at that probably than what SSB is. I think that would be a fair thing to say.
And if you have a property like that, I mean, like with Sleep Geek, and we're thankful for everybody that participates
Yes,
because
we
it
are.
helps us tremendously. But I'm telling you, I reach out and I say, does this make any sense to this community?
Right.
I mean, I remember when we were launching the Active Edge line of products, right? So get rid of foam encasement, steel perimeters
Right.
all the way around. I went to our team and I said, this is great. I mean, I sleep on it. Like I sleep on an Active Edge product. And I'm like, I like it. It's really great. Like it expands the sleep surface. It's firm all the way to the edge, right? There's no transition that's weird, no roll off.
Right.
It's good. But that's my opinion. How is this being received at retail?
Right.
Doesn't matter. Does the edge even come up? So what do? What Tuft and Needle has the ability to do right now? What SSB will have the ability to do through Tuft and Needle? Go and ask your community.
Well, when we were creating the hybrid concept,
Same thing. Yeah.
and when we literally were intentional about it, had 7 people. We asked them about the term hybrid, take it to the consumer, define a mattress with the word hybrid that has either gel latex or memory foam in it, and it's a high-end inner spring with pocketed coil. They came back and said 2 things. It sped up the sale and it increased ticket. That was all we needed.
That was all we needed to know.
So anyway, back to Tuft and Needle. There is some issue, I guess, on some part of that. But I think all in all, I think it's probably a win-win. And I think you'll see. I mean, look at Temperman. They kind of had to, didn't they? SSB make a move because you got Temper Sealy doing a very good job of going direct to consumer. And so,
Are you talking about both brands?
but well,
Temper and Sealy?
Tempur-Pedic for sure. I'm not as dialed in to how they're handling that on the Sealy side, but they're definitely being more aggressive going direct to the consumer. And so if that's the case and that's your competition, you have to skate to where the puck is going, Gretzky says. So anyway, I think strategically speaking, they needed to do what they did. So, whether it's good or bad, or retailers are upset with it or not upset with it. Here's a question for you. Do you think Tuft and Needle can compete on retail selling floors? Let's look at it that way. If you look at the product that is out there, I think that's a challenge. Maybe they create their own product, but I think part of a challenge for some of these guys, these e-commerce guys, is will their product in a retail environment actually be competitive?
And you're talking probably, if I'm guessing this right, about comparison.
Sure, because you're not in a vacuum anymore. You're talking about the context of a store with other imported products, not Tuft and Needle branded. So you got to give them an edge there for sure. But
You're saying if they go to traditional retail with the Tuft and Needle product.
Yeah, if you could put it into a local sleep shop, is it going to compete?
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
And
Is
it gets
Casper going to compete? Don't stop there. Is Casper, is Lisa, is Nectar, are these guys going to compete? I think Purple's got an edge because they're a way different product. Their technology is way different. They're not a foam bed.
And whenever you start going to the wholesale side of the business, you get into a completely different skill set as a brand.
No doubt.
Because if I'm going to go, like, I have a brand, right? So Kippo, right? So,
You want me to get
hey,
that?
who is that?
You want me to get it?
There you go. Pull the plug on him. No,
Hello.
she unplugged it.
No, he said it's still burning.
Right. So if I go and I sell some of the athletic gear to people on the internet that find our
Right.
site, or we go and find them, that's great. They come on the line, they look at the website, they look at the marketing, they look at the videos, they read everything. Good, thumbs up, I like it, click the button, buy. The moment that I go and try to sell the products to a retail store, my investment of time and resource and marketing energy really needs to be in training, the RSA. I went into a retail store the other day, and I do this in different environments from time to time. So I'll just say, hey, do you know about the brands you sell? And if somebody's like, not really, then I just kind of move on. If they say, yes, I do know about the brands, and this gal said, I know about all of them. And I said, so you know the story attached to each product, or you know functionally what it does? Yeah. I go, well, tell me about some of your favorites. And she's telling me about some pants over here that did this, that, and the other. She told me about a shirt that had some sort of like bamboo in it or something like that. And she goes, oh, hold on. I want to tell you about my favorite brand. She had to go like deal with a customer for a moment, check them out. So she comes back, she goes, this is my favorite brand of all. Like, I love this brand. I said, tell me about it. She said the brand is called Ten Tree, and it has this coin in the tag. Like whenever you buy it, it has a coin in the tag. And she says you go online and you punch the number on that coin into the website, and when you do that, they plant 10 trees.
Creates traffic.
Creates traffic to the website.
I love it.
They plant 10 trees. And then once they plant the trees, you can see where in the world those trees actually end up. And that tree was all because of your purchase. And so she's telling me this, and she's going on about the 10 trees and how much she loves it. And I said, that's awesome. I said, what about the clothes? Like, do they feel good? She goes, oh, yeah, they're nice.
It's like Tom's shoes, right?
Yeah, she's like, they're nice.
Yeah, they're good. Overpriced. But I got another kid a pair of shoes somewhere.
Her second favorite brand was the same thing. It had nothing to do with the technical properties of the clothing or even the style.
There's something really cool about that, though, getting to know where your tree, personalize that, right?
Yeah.
Getting to know where your trees were planted.
Totally. But the whole point being, whenever you start selling into a store, like Tuft and Needle might do, you have to invest in your story getting repeated at retail. That's a different skill set than you've built up a team around. And therein lies one of the minds in the field.
Right. So it's not just a product thing. There's a connection to brand, and you got to find something demonstrable in that.
Yeah.
And the problem is foam beds are, a lot alike these days. So they'll figure it out.
Oh, and by the way, that's kind of a millennial message, the 10 tree thing. But I heard a guy say the other day that the millennial generation that's all about social mission and purpose, but the new generation beyond millennials is it Z, Gen Z, yeah, Generation Z, much more practical. Grew up with parents that went through a recession, buckled down, utility, kind of practical, want jobs that are safe, that type of thing. So there might be another shift beyond that. But if you look at 40-year cycles, that's kind of common. You could probably backtrack 40 years from Gen Z and probably get the same thing. Just a sidebar.
Right. Wow. All right.
So okay, but so we're talking about Tuft and Needle merging with SSB, and we're talking about some of these different areas that the business might go in, and the new skill sets you need to develop. And one of the things I think about with Tuft and Needle is their almost domination, it seems like, of the Amazon channel. And
they
partnered with
for
Amazon. Sure. They partnered with Amazon to power one of their stores, I think, up in the Seattle area. But that element, too, is a significant contributor to the future of brands. And you had a blog that kind of got into the salesperson mattress store, but it started by talking about Amazon stores. So the Amazon Go store, describe those for people.
Yeah, so I thought, and actually, when I first saw this, I thought it was going to be RFID because Walmart had invested, I want to say billions, I'm pretty sure it was billions, in this technology. It was a chip, and you would put it into your shirt or a pair of shoes, and you could literally put it in a grocery cart, your whole grocery cart full of things, and then walk it through a scanner, and that was it. It would automatically capture all the items in your basket and also charge your card at the same time. Pretty cool, right? But a RFID chip was like $0.25 at the time, and if you put that into a pack of gum, you've just increased the cost of the pack of gum by like 20% or whatever it was. So it was chicken and the egg. How do you get the cost of the RFID chip down? Well, you do that by making more of them. Well, you don't need to make more of them until you create demand for the chip. So anyway, Amazon has done it through optics, right? So through cameras. And so you walk in and scan. I think you either scan your card or it is already automatic and it senses it in your pocket. I don't recall
Kirsten
which.
says no.
Which one is it, Kirsten? You just walk in. So you got a chip in your pocket or whatever it is.
It's connected to your phone.
Your phone.
It's
Wow.
an app, and you connect it from the
Connect
app
from the app to your phone,
Okay.
to your bank account,
Well, there's nothing wrong with that,
and then,
right? Connect it to your bank.
and then
account.
straight to Jeff Bezos's bank account from your bank
Yeah.
account, but with a one-way ticket to Jeff Bezos's bank
Cha-ching,
account.
right?
I get it.
items off of the shelf
Through the camera, right? It scans it, and then
on
yeah,
the ceiling to catch it all.
and it captures you.
So it's all optics because I went to the library the other day. I haven't done this in years, by the way, and I got some books. And so Tara, she's like, "No, you just put them right there," and it knows what books are right there. Dink, dink, dink. You take the books out.
Wow.
It was super cool. And I was like, oh, that's probably RFID.
Right.
Probably not optics in this case, but optics
Yeah.
fixed that problem from a cost standpoint.
So you walk in, and you don't need when you go to a Walmart or something. Do you go to the self-scan section?
A lot.
See, I do. I like it. I like to scan stuff. I'm like a child. I feel like I'm 50, but I like to run the UPC. My son, who's 14, and I fight over who's going to get to scan stuff. Does that tell you something about me?
Is he over there like managing rap battles on the side, hyping people up?
I'm kidding. I let him scan, but I like to scan.
I let him
stuff.
scan one item. Cue the laughing.
Yeah, cue the laugh. Thank you. We need big laughing. Hey, can we do laugh tracks here? That would make us so much more
We
interesting.
do whatever we want. It's the world's
All right,
greatest
fine.
mattress
There we go.
broadcast.
There we
do
go.
whatever we want.
So anyway, you walk in, get your stuff, you walk out, and hassle-free. You're not like sitting there entering PIN codes to approve purchases and waiting for cashier to come over and help you. So anyway, the idea, and I just read that, and I'm thinking about the mattress industry and how do you do a cashierless mattress store. So I put some thoughts out on that, and then turns out there is one already.
Yes.
So
hassle-free mattress.
Hassle-free mattress, and they've got several locations.
It's up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
In the Minnesota
Wisconsin,
area.
right?
Yeah, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
And so anyway, I went online. I couldn't see a lot. There was a video of a guy doing it. But so, all right. So let's talk about if you're going to do a mattress.
And he had I think he has 8 stores.
That's exact. No, he does.
Showrooms.
So when someone said showrooms. So and the doors lock. So what if you're in there and it's like 8 o'clock at night and it just are you stuck? At least you got a place to sleep.
Got a place to sleep, man.
Is there a panic button where you can have someone come and let you out at 8 o'clock?
I wonder how often they
How
have
does that
issues
work?
with people just going in and chilling for a long period of time.
Or having sex,
Yeah.
right? No one in the store. There's 3 beds, perfectly good mattresses right there. You think that's possible?
Let's
Think
get this
they've had
guy
the
on the
problem?
show.
We
and
got to
ask
get
the
them on
question.
the show. Hobos. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is the politically correct term for that?
I have no.
It's not hobo. It's got to be something. Homeless.
Isn't that like an old school term or something?
Yeah, we don't want to. Okay, but anyway, I get where you're at. No, but right, there's going to be. So obviously, there's cameras.
Right.
So let's talk about what do you have to have if you have no one in your store, Kinsley? How do you open that store, and what has to be present for that to be successful? So how many products, for instance, are you going to have in a store like that?
Well, I think at that point, you're kind of going to index toward having a range of products that have distinct feels and price points. Because
Right.
if you're going to say, hey, there are no salespeople here, what you're really communicating, in my opinion, is come into the store and spend as much time as you want, and you can try everything out, and you don't feel like somebody's breathing over the top of you, right? So that's what they're saying. So I would probably have a wider selection, a variety of price points, and you got to have really money, buttoned up POP, videos, everything that does the job of telling the story in a very logical, clear fashion. I think
So
if
on
you
the
get,
product-
if you get that right and checkout is easy and there's confidence that it's going to be delivered at the right time, it's just the experience end to end, which is funny because that's what we talk to people a lot about on the retail side. What is your experience like before, during, and after? Evaluate that, really get it right, and invest time into it. Well, in this case, you would have to. It would be a mandatory.
Yeah. So yes, for sure. So sticking to product, I wrote that maybe there's 3.
3 products.
Yeah.
Like foam, latex, hybrid.
Yeah, but
naturals,
let's
or
just
whatever.
make it simple, right? We always say that brands who simplify the process get paid, right? Apple, great example of that. So if there's a
Tuft and Needle.
Tuft and Needle, absolutely. So if you walk into a store where there's no salespeople, you have 3 beds, same price too, by the way, right? And you say,
Oh, you're not going to give any
Nope.
no price banding?
Nope.
My store is going to go ahead and undercut your store, by the way. And I'm opening up next door.
Okay, fine. So everything's
Velocity, price point,
I'm
Kinsley
going to be
mattress.
everything's $5, and you're going to be the guy that's like
$4.99.
everything's $1.
$4.99.
Gosh. So no, I say if you hypothetically, you could say, look, you want a quality bed. We've been in the industry for a long time. We think this is what it takes. We don't sell the crap. We don't sell the luxury. We sell what we think is in the sweet spot. This is how it's made. It'll save you 30% based on what you can get everywhere else. And part of the reason is because we don't have salespeople. You have to justify.
Right.
And then you just simplify it for them. And you say, here's a plush, here's a firm, and here's a super plush. and you let them decide and make that decision. Okay, so it's a thought, right? I like your idea, though, being top to bottom and having a lot of price range. I think that's cool. That makes sense.
All right, so
Okay, so go past
if
that.
anybody
What
knows
else?
any
What
more-
else? What else has to be in your store to be successful? You mentioned a couple things. So you said being able to tell the story, right?
the POP, the video.
So what would that look like? Like, what would your point of sale look like, do you think?
I mean, I think it's pretty geared toward like the iPad sales piece of the puzzle.
Right.
I mean, I think that attached to each mattress, only telling that mattress's story.
Yeah.
That way there's no confusion on navigating to this mattress or that mattress through my iPad. And then videos of people like the owner of the store saying, hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Here's why we love this mattress. So you can personalize that. I think people talk about mattress salespeople and that experience in a negative context a lot of times. But if it wasn't working and there wasn't a need there, it would no longer exist at scale.
Right.
Because people want to talk to people and get some reassurance. I still think that there's that factor to a very, very high degree.
No doubt. As a matter of fact, Charles Madonna on the LinkedIn thread, he's with Jordan's. He said, absolutely not. I would want someone with knowledge that knows what's inside of and how the mattress is constructed and get some customer service. I think he's right. However, I think there's also a slice of the market that is buying at Sam's or is buying online that would be totally cool going into a store, not having that service, laying on the bed, looking at a quick video and like saying, okay, that was hassle-free, no problem, and I'm good. I got a new bed.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Not everyone, right?
Not everyone, but I think that's the key here is there are people that want to buy, like I'm looking at some mountain bikes right now. There are people that want to buy a mountain bike from direct to consumer, get a better price point, get it spec'd up with all the bells and whistles. And then there are people that want to go into a bike shop and say, dude, I have no idea what to buy here. Here's the type of riding I'm going to be doing. It's a pretty complicated item, but it is simple in a way too. It's kind of like a mattress.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. In addition to the video that you could look at, wouldn't it be neat if you had an iPad and it was boop, and it's a FaceTime.
Oh yeah,
and you're directly connected to a guy, and
yeah,
you're like, hey man, I'm in. Hey, thanks. I appreciate you're in our store on 10th Street. That's really great, man. Like, so have you laid on the bed? Yeah, I got a question.
Cool.
And then he handles it, but that guy who's on the company side, he's handling like 5 stores.
You just call it Wizard of Oz mattress because he's the guy behind the curtain.
Hey, there you go.
Right?
I like that.
And you tell a whole story about it, and you build a character around it.
Or every now and then, if you're that guy and you're you're a wizard and you've got 5 stores and you've got this really cool control panel, you got all these monitors and you're like watching people shop for your stuff, and then you pipe yourself in and you're like, hey man, get off that bed. And a voice just pipes into the room, and they're like, "What is that?" And now you're being watched, right? or there's a couple, and they start getting a little freaky in the room.
The lever alone for Jesus, there, huh?
Hey, yeah. Hey, this isn't a hotel room. Stop it, right? I mean, you could
You can do a lot of surprise and delight stuff.
Or what if you could?
I'm just messing with you.
What if you could DJ all your stores, right? And you're like, hey, store 3, put some Marvin Gaye, man. These guys are feeling it, and then you like pipe in.
I'm turning off the Marvin Gaye. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, right. All right. Right.
I like this a lot.
Get them in a mood that you could like really have some fun with that.
Man.
All right. So here's a couple of other comments on LinkedIn. Keith Mackey, by the way, thank you. He's with Protect the Bed, and he sent us a link. So hasslelessmattress.com.
Oh, sorry, I said hassle-free. It's hassle-less.
Hassle-less.
Let's put it in the show notes. We'll throw a little love at this guy. I saw his video. It was nice.
HASSLESS.com. So cool stuff. Graham Gordon, friend of mine, really smart guy, used to be with Mattress Giant back in the day, said he's been there and done that. So he already had some people reaching out to him on the link saying, hey, so tell me, what did you do and how did you do it? Don Brown brought up a good point, owner of Graphic Visions. Don says, I'm not a clean freak, but we see what happens in the retail environment with sales folks working the floor, coffee, drinks, spills, candy, dirty shoes, all that. I think maintaining a clean presentation would be a constant issue. I certainly would not rest easy on a soiled, stained mattress. I think that's a legit point. Also, I think with mattress protectors and sheets, you could provide a hand sample so they could touch and feel that. But how would you sell pillows?
How are you going to sell pillows? I
You know what I mean?
I think you got to put them out
Because people
there.
could walk out, right?
Yeah, I think you have to put them on all, because really when we talk about that's squeaky. I don't know what's going on.
No,
When we talk about like introducing the pillow early in the process, say, hey, choose your pillow, and then take it around and use it to try all your mattresses. That way, they get exposure to the pillow. They get to try something they might buy at the end. In this case, that's what I love about it, though. As a thought exercise alone, if you had a salesperson-free mattress store, take your team through this process.
Mm-hmm.
Take them through the process of what would have to happen. Let's just say the challenge was we have to double the size of our business with no salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? What would you put in place? How would you introduce product? How would you guide people through the store with nobody there? And then if you do that, you might come out with just as a brainstorm exercise alone, some really interesting tidbits that might inform some things you do in your store with salespeople.
When you attack yourself, it's a great exercise. I think that's really smart, Kinsley. I think, if you anticipate the future state potentially, then you might get to some pretty good places. By the way, I want to say hi to David Allen Alton, always on listening. So thanks, David, and watching on Facebook Live. And guess who else joined?
Oh, what up, Doug Stewart?
Doug Stewart. You're the guy that put Doug. By the way, you're gonna have to go back and listen to this, but he was telling this horrible story, which I don't believe at all, where you forced him to enter a adult spelling bee, and then subsequently got him into a rap off, which I think has actually damaged Kinsley. As he tells the story, you could feel the pain, and his voice was cracking. But
I need to go talk about this. But yes, Doug, we did talk about your podcast.
We did.
We're going to link. It's our podcast, but it's really Doug's podcast. now.
and sometimes Kinsley.
Yeah, and sometimes Kinsley.
I've noticed I've never been invited to be on your other podcast.
Oh,
by the
hold
way.
on. I meant to give this to you.
You're not writing out an invitation, are you?
Yeah, I've been meaning to give this to you.
Wow.
This is
invited invitation.
This is an invitation.
So that
for
means
you.
I'm not invited.
Yeah, you're not getting invited to the.
Why not? What did I do?
You didn't do anything, but
How do you get uninvited for something?
I want to protect the
I'm going to talk to
integrity.
Doug. It's his.
You know what? Maybe
it's
Doug
his
would.
podcast anyway. Maybe Doug would have me on.
I think Doug would have you on. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
So if somebody came into the store with no
Right.
salesperson,
Yeah.
and they had questions
Yeah.
about quilted mattresses versus
Oh.
non-quilted mattresses, or squishy, quilt built or squishy, how would you describe it? You make mattresses with quilting.
Yeah. Why did you give me the ugliest hat, by the way? Was that
Well,
accidental?
It's because quilting looks so nice.
So, I'm a fan of quilting. I think quilting visually looks comfortable. I think it is aesthetically pleasing. I think it invites you into the bed. I think of like it's starting to, the weather's getting a little colder. I've got my favorite jacket is this like corduroy / quilted jacket, and it just, I don't know, man, it's just a comfort thing, isn't it? I don't know, I love that.
I think emotionally too, whenever you think about if grandma at Christmas time were to say, look at this fabric I got you, but she doesn't do that. She says, look at this quilt I made you.
Right.
I quilted it for you. There's love and stitching put into there. There's texture. There's loft. There's insulation and warmth all around the quilting that grandma did.
Sure.
I think that translates to the mattress.
A non-quilted bed is a quick, easy way to do things. That's not the, hey, we care about you. We're going to create a sleep environment that says, come on in, I'm going to give you a little hug. That's not a flat bed.
I feel bad about the hat
Making me
you're
wear
having to
this
wear.
really
You know
bad
what?
hat.
Just for participating in the world's great. Let's get you in one of those right
I
there.
graduated. Oh, see,
Now
we're
Ploofy
talking.
style. So that's
Ploofy
Ploofy style with quilt
Sweet.
built.
Okay. I have a large.
Hey, thanks to
Cavesa.
Randy Metcalf for hooking us up with these
Way to
hats.
go,
Randy
Randy
works
Metcalf.
in our machinery division, and they did some survey. We did a survey actually. Randy's group did about quilted mattresses versus flat mattresses.
And what did the survey
And there's
say?
a lot of preference for quilted style mattresses, Especially
say
like
why?
you talked about around the high end. You know
Did they
what?
say why?
We're going to come out with an article in
Oh,
Sleep
cool.
Geek, so it's not ready yet.
All right.
But it's going to be posted on Sleep Geek, so make sure you're signed up for the newsletter.
I believe that completely. I think it's much more inviting.
You know, we were talking about the store. So the store environment.
Thanks for the hat, by the way.
Yeah, no
Now,
problem.
are you going to give this to me or
It's all you, man.
really?
Yeah, it's all
Thanks a
you.
lot.
How many people have a
You're
quilted
not going to let
hat?
me on your podcast,
I
but
mean,
you will give me a hat.
There are a lot of hats out there, but there are only a few
Okay.
this unique.
Okay. Beautiful. Oh yeah, now see that one? That's special.
That's a little bit different, isn't
Can you
it?
get a picture of him in that, Kirsten?
Yeah, it's a hat. It's got a nano. It's got nano coil on the inside.
You got a problem when someone can't even identify the fact that
Hey,
that's
Kirsten,
actually a hat.
Will you go grab that photo right there on the left on the second shelf? So this is a real thing. You cannot, by the way, swing a golf club.
Instead
with
of
this
one
thing on your
dork
head.
wearing a mattress on his head, we have now 4 dorks.
We made the chive with this, by the way. So I'm holding this up to the screen on Facebook Live, but as part of the Cena Magowitz Golf Classic, Joe Lyon, Doug Guffey, Jimmy Fleming, and myself, we made mattress pants and mattress hats, and we ended up on the chive as one of the 27th worst dressed, I think.
Which is amazing, given the fact that it's pretty much half naked women plus you guys wearing mattress outfits.
It's better
figure.
than half naked us, right?
Yeah. All right, so Jerry Epperson, let's keep this moving. Last.
What are you talking about,
Subject-
Keeman? Are you in
Well,
a hurry
now
to be
we're talking
somewhere?
about mattress
If you got
hats.
somewhere to be, then you go.
I just
You just
I'm
head
putting,
right on
I'm
down the
putting
road,
myself in the shoes
Just get on down
of the
highway.
people listening to this, and I'm thinking
You think
right
they
about
want this to be
now,
over? No,
they're not
They
really
want
wanting to
more.
hear about mattress
They're right
hats.
in the middle of their run,
Okay.
and they're wishing it would keep going on.
Okay, all right.
I'm putting this hat on
You want
backwards.
us to get 5-star ratings, right, on this podcast, and
Yeah.
you want to do that
I'm
by talking
serious
about
about
mattress
this.
hats. I don't think it's
I'm
going to happen.
serious. I just got serious. You know, I think we should wrap it up now. You got someplace.
I don't think we should be. I don't. I do. I have a softball game my daughter plays today.
I
so
do
have
have
to
like
leave.
I had to jam in like 5 minutes here.
Do you really?
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's
yeah,
get
I
through.
do.
So we're not going to talk about Jerry Epperson.
We'll talk about it next time. Hey, this was fun. I think we covered a lot of territory. Doug gave you an invitation to his podcast.
Did he
Invitation.
really? Where is it?
I like how excited you got right there.
Yeah. Like, did he text you or something?
No, he gave you an invitation.
No, he didn't do anything. You did it.
Exactly, on his behalf. Don't shoot the messenger.
Do you know something that I don't know?
No, I know
Do I have to
nothing.
reconcile
I
something
know
with Doug?
absolutely nothing.
Apparently you do.
I don't know anything.
Fine, Doug. I don't know what I did to you, but if you don't want me on your podcast,
Hey, we'd love to hear what you think. So we talked about the Tuft and Needle merger with SSB, the salesperson free mattress store. We talked a little bit about quilted mattresses versus non. Hop over to facebook.com/sleepgeek, and you can go to episode 80 and just leave some comments in there.
Do we have
You can
any?
see the video too.
Do we have any ratings, by the way, on the podcast?
Yeah, they somebody told me they were trying to give us 40 thumbs down, but they can only do 2. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
No. We want people to go
Rate us, review us,
review us.
Respond
I'm saying,
to us.
has anyone done that?
on Facebook.
Yeah, I haven't checked it. No,
know.
on the podcast, right?
On the podcast. Yeah, we have ratings on the podcast.
We do.
On
look,
iTunes.
Look, what are they? I mean, are they?
I mean, I'm
haven't
assuming
checked it.
it's 5 out of 5 stars.
I-
It's the
how
greatest
could it not
mattress
be?
industry podcast on the planet.
It is the greatest mattress in it. I'll tell you what, I want you guys to send, because you probably are laughing at us, but I want you to send us what you are officially the greatest at in the world.
Yeah.
And then we can put this into context, because this is the greatest.
And you are the greatest at something. You
You
might
are.
be the greatest dad to Kirsten. I'm just using a name
That's
of a child.
on the planet. That's
Like if
good.
the kid's name was Kirsten. You might be the greatest daughter to Mark.
Or the greatest
Yeah.
adult spelling bee / rap artist, rap battle competitor
Better.
ever
On the planet.
on the planet, which is another
The best
title
at
you
getting 5th in the spelling bee and rap battle champion #1 of the
have.
planet.
Hey,
Drop the
Cinco
mic.
to Uno, you're #1. Don't forget that.
Hey, and Nick can tell us he's #1 hype man for King, whatever his name is.
#1 hype. I'll see if someone can get a picture. We'll throw him up there too.
I'll be your hype man. You be my hype man.
I'll be your hype
You
man.
my hype
I'm not
man?
rap. I can't rap. I don't have it.
So, you know what? Dun, 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 dun.
Peanut butter jelly.
Chicka bounce on it. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We love you guys.
Love you
Really-
all.
really
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Let's try to make the betting industry as fun as it possibly can be. And make sure and rate and review us. That's a good note.
Rate and review, and do something different today. Look at your business differently. Peace.
You could bounce on it. Yeah, bounce. hybrid. It's like peanut butter jelly, peanut butter chocolate. Hybrid so tight, there's no way that you could topple it.